So, I'm feeling good because I am the mother of two sons, and I'm thankful. Two sons by the same man. I feel good. That makes me feel good about myself because, of course, my daughter is by another man, but whatever. You weren't about that. Not disregarding her, but of course, just that shenanigans. Trying to find my big behind somewhere to sit down at. Feeling chilly too. I'm a little cold. Probably need to go jump my behind in the shower. What is? Oh, okay. So yeah, happy to be the mother of two sons. Was happy when I had the first one. I did a turnaround and had my second one 3 years later. My second son, and yeah, I was happy mother, proud mother. Then I'm still feeling good. It's just tough, of course, because operating mainly a single. Barely can talk and get it out good. My tongue is actually hurting and it's getting on my nerves. But I'll just, my son is going to wake up tomorrow. He's going to be 10. I don't know, the significance of it as far as God is concerned. I don't know, what the plans or purpose for my son. I just know he is awesome. He's amazing guy, both of them, but specifically talking about the one that's turning 10 tomorrow. He will be in his double digits out of his single digits. Another year closer to manhood, and which I still really want him to enjoy his childhood, and I think that's why I'm irritated and stuff like that, because my kids have not, they're content, but just have not been able to enjoy their childhood like that. My daughter included at times, but sometimes, she was able to go off with her so-called dad and them people or whatever and do different stuff than my sons have been able to. And just thinking back, of course, on when their so-called dad, when I was first pregnant, of course, he was just like, yeah, let's sacrifice him, let's give him back to God. Yeah, let's give him to God, but I didn't, for me, abortion wasn't it. I thought about it because I felt like I was going to be raising a child alone, in which, of course, here I am, operating as single. And not only did I have the one, I had the two by the same man. So, that's what I was, like, emotional about. But, so 10 years ago, I remember it almost like I said, like it was yesterday. Me and his dad, to make my labor come on, we ended up being intimate. And I enjoyed it, and I was glad about it. And the next thing I know, I had my contractions, and he was on the way. And then my water broke in his dad's car. I was concerned. I was like, oh, Lord, I messed up his seats. I knew he liked his car, but, I shouldn't have had to feel like that. And he was like, oh, you worried about the wrong thing. So how do you go? But I just don't understand. It's like confusion, because how do you go from wanting to say something like sacrifice him? I understand having a feeling of maybe we don't need a child, but you asked me for him. Well, you asked me that I want a boy. I said, yeah, I came into agreement. Then you go to, oh, let's just give him back to God. Then you go to, you worried about the wrong thing, a baby on the way. So, don't worry about the seed. So it was just a lot of confusion, and it just irks stuff out of me. Like, it really does. Because, of course, I had children by him. I had two sons, and I'm just like, I'm not highly concerned because they're being raised by me at this point in time. But they still got his genes and stuff like that. And I just, oh yeah, that whole situation. And it's not a laughing matter. But this part was funny, humorous to me. The guy, which of course got the same name as their dad anyway. the one who allegedly threw his child in the river and stuff. And if I'm slurring words and stuff, it's just because my tongue is hurting. But yeah, threw his baby in the river, whatever. And then the girl who did the interview, she was like, "Yeah, I didn't want to carry on his genes." It's like, you in love with that man or you care for that man, and but you don't care enough to carry on his gene. Like, you don't want to have no child with him or whatever. That just behooves me. No, but it really just bothers me because I just don't get it. I'm not like that. I just don't understand how y'all don't want to reproduce after after your own self, but with the person that you're supposed to love, like have a many you and him or you and her or whatever. But anyway, that's just me. Maybe it's old fashioned, maybe it's old school, whatever, but it bothered me. But she was like, "Yeah, I don't want to," but now I am feeling concerned, not highly, as far as what I knew. He was a decent dude, but he did have a lot of deeper stuff that was just like, "Oh, you a whole creep out here and beyond." I feel like I'm definitely quirky. I'm different, you know what I'm saying? But as far as that creepy stuff, I'm not saying I don't have some ways that could come off as creepy, but I know that I'm not a creep. I know that, I'm not out here just, oh Lord, my little detector keep going off. But yeah, I know I'm just not out here being creepy to people. Um, they tried me on so many levels, but yeah, but just imagine having two of them. And I see some of the little stuff that they do, but overall, them boys are they real sweet. Now my older one who is turning 10, he got a little, it seemed like a mean streak. They both got like a little mean streak that but it's nothing like major. It's nothing like alarming to me as their mother. And especially being a woman of God, I just be like, let me submit it to God and I pray for him, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to sit here and say that it couldn't be, if I wasn't a woman of God, that it couldn't be indications of something serious. Again, if I wasn't a praying mother, but I'm going to continue to be a praying mother. And, even with my daughter, of course, not being in the household, just going to continue, period. But thankful for that. Then I reflected on the time when he went and got involved with the girl that he had the baby on me with. And I remember her saying, when me and her were talking, and she started talking about my son, like, I'm talking to you about what y'all got going on. You don't even need to talk about y'all shouldn't even been talking about my kids at all. Well, at the time, it was just my child. But yeah, no, he always talked about even my daughter with other people. And I just be like, what is going on? How dare you even mention my daughter to anybody else? Like, that's not your place. But, anyways, he evidently had supposedly had told her, yeah, talking about our oldest son, the one that's turning 10 tomorrow. Yeah, he gonna be the one to make me, to disappoint me or whatever. And I'm sitting here like, for one, why wouldn't you say, yeah, he gonna make me proud? Why wouldn't you speak that over him? And then, well, for one, why are you talking to her about my child anyway? Talk about whatever y'all got going on, y'all bumping nasty private parts and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, said that, and if I was around him and I heard him talking about that or whatever, I know I mentioned it to him. If she came back and told me or whatever, if I was around him, he know good and well clocked probably right upside his head. Cause like, why are you stupid like that? Why do you feel it's your place to go and speak about my children with some other female? I just be feeling like that's the ultimate disrespect. It's like, you already disrespectful going out here being community property, community penis type dude, and coming back and messing around, still dealing with me and stuff like that. But then you gotta go and talk about my kids with these females. So of course he ended up taking my son over there at that time, and one of them times, well, just one time. It's always a one time type of thing that he takes my kids around these females, and 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 of course she came back bragging about how she had my son over there and stuff like that. And then what else did she say? Did she say something? Oh no, it was the time when he was like, oh, when he brought him back, he was like, "Is something wrong with him?" I'm sitting here like, wait, what? And he was a baby, so you never know. Hopefully, nothing crazy happened or whatever, but you just never know if anything like traumatizing happened when he was over there. Anything. He didn't seem to come back like different. He just had times where he was kind of zoning in and out because his so-called dad, was in and out of his life and was playing games. But that was the main times that I seen like something different. And when he came back, he didn't seem different. He just had a scratch on him when he came back. It was small, but it's enough to make me feel a type of way. And yeah, their so-called dad didn't seem to give a damn. Didn't care about my feelings regarding that matter. And yeah, but for you to come back and even start saying something's wrong with your own child because you've been in an environment with her and her kids who got different genetic makeup. My son is more laid back and chill because that's just that's the type of person I am. And this the household he raised in. So he wasn't like rowdy and like, I mean, he's a boy, all boy, but he wasn't like the rough boyish type, especially at that. I think he was only like 2 when he did that. And then he wasn't used to them people. He didn't know them. You taking my son over there. So I'm just like, are you stupid, or are you dumb, or are you an idiot? That's how I'm feeling or whatever. These days I'm you know, we've lived through it. We that's what happened, that's what he did. He gotta live with what he did. Me just taking my kids around people, even with my daughter, like I was cautious. I did have her around, if I was dating a guy or whatever. But even one guy tried to start saying, don't we seem like we're a family? I'm like, no, her dad is. I always try to acknowledge that I had her with somebody, you know what I'm saying, with her dad, even if he wasn't treating me right, this, that, and the third, and he didn't. But I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? And I did, was a time when I was like, yeah, you need to shake stepdaddy hand and this, that, and the third. I did say that to him because I just was like, I'm done with him. But I wasn't disrespectful like that, like just taking my child around anybody. If I was doing something kind of what I thought was considered was dirt or something that was just inappropriate, I asked somebody else that I trusted, at least at the time, to help or take care of not take care of, but let my daughter stay over there or whatever, because she's a little girl, and I just wasn't gonna have her just around anything. But similar with my sons, like I'm not gonna just have them around. So of course I haven't had them around anybody, and it's almost like if I do, I feel like I'm getting some kind of trouble, whether it be chastised by God, or whether it be just because spiritually their dad just be sometimes seemingly like he got some kind of control spiritually. I'm gonna just say that. But me personally, I me personally, he don't run nothing. I feel like and believe you don't run nothing, and neither does her dad. Regarding her being here or whatever. Um, but yeah, so those things like that or whatever just hurts me, and it's crazy because it's like I should be able to more so focus on the fact that my son is getting a year older, but I feel the type of way because you don't have specifically the male that he started out with, him and his brother, and then we just don't have no type of male over here, and it's like, oh man. And of course, my daughter's dad tried to be shaking my son's hand. I don't like that. I don't like stuff like that because he let it be known that he didn't like me and he didn't like like their dad. He basically wished death on me and their dad. I hope y'all kill each other and leave my daughter behind and stuff like that. So where does that leave my children that I got with him for you to feel like that? It's like, but you mad at yourself though. So I don't even want to go deep on that, but just the fact that shaking my son's hands and stuff, and you call me out my name, you tell me to suck dick, you tell me all type of stuff, you tell me I'm on drugs and just crazy stuff. So I was caught between a rock and a hard place, or two hard places, or two rocks. And linked up and had children with both of them. Of course, I had to point the finger at myself. Can't blame anybody else. Although sometimes I'd be like, that's y'all fault. That don't have nothing to do with me. Y'all caused all this. I do be feeling like that because I just believed that I was just so loyal to them, and so um, I was good. I wasn't out cheating on people. I wasn't being deceitful. I was trying to make it work both times. Granted, I see the first time where it just wasn't gonna work. I was young. I barely see as far as the second, with the boys is that where it's not possible for it to work. But I'm getting there. um, so now that's what I'm on. That's me right now. That's how I'm feeling. And excuse me, just thinking about that. It's like, man, I'd rather be thinking about. I know that our son can and will make you proud. If you give him a chance. And won't you while you telling people that? Won't you talk about how what I'm saying? You just became absent in their life. You was there and being there and stuff like that, then you just became absent. Like, that was just a whole world of crazy to me, for real. And I guess it's not too far-fetched because his own so-called dad did that to him, or whatever the case was. I tried not to make it hard and difficult for them to interact with their dad and have that relationship. But I know it would be so much so that I even be trying to force it. And it's like, you shouldn't have to force it because these kids came out of your nutsack. But also, like, I'm gonna encourage you to be in your kids' lives and stuff like that. But that's the thing. I just never thought that we was not going to be together and raise our children, our boys. And like, I was so into that, and I was set on it. And I just knew that's what was gonna happen. It wasn't no other way until all this occurred. So I don't know. I'm just feeling type of way, and I want to more so focus on my son, and not necessarily just for tomorrow, but every day. Like I always say, I celebrate life every day. I love them. I'm here with them every day, all the time, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And I just don't want to be that type of mom that wants to use and abuse her children, or utilize her kids or live vicariously through them, things that I didn't do. I just try to present different opportunities to them and see. But sometimes that stuff, even if I present it and we say, okay, this is what we're going to do, it doesn't work out like I be wanting it to. And so I'm just more so still trying to understand how God wants me to parent them, and respond to them and love on them and steward them and stuff like that. Especially just being boys. And I am a boy mom because I'll get out there and be a little rougher than, as far as with a girl. But I I still need help and just need to know how this thing works. And I'm not so distraught, but I'm just like I say, irritated and just bothered because it's like, how dare you? And I'm like, it's a blessing for a man to have one son, I thought, let alone two. Why would you not feel, you know, and by the same woman at that? But he, I guess, thinks less of me, and not even I guess, he seems to think less of me, and I feel like that's a him issue because, oh well, for one, I feel like, well, you should have thought about that before you lay down, had children. You didn't mind sticking your penis, you know what I'm saying, and doing all that, and of course the non-consensual and all of that. So, hey, it is what it is. That's what you get. But at the same time, it's like, why would you think and feel less of me? I don't feel like that about myself. I love myself. Like I say, I know I got some flaws. I know I got some things that I could definitely work on, major, big time. But I'm a created being. I'm created by God, and I've experienced agape love. Um, I don't feel that right now, but I do believe that God loves me. But I I've experienced that, and so eh, I don't change my mind about myself. And it's like, yeah, he did too much changing his mind and going back and forth and all that. And it's just, it is what it is. I'm definitely not gonna go on that because that's not what we own. But just, how dare you like disgrace my sons, disgrace me, but disgrace my sons like that? That's not good. It's not right. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. I don't care for that, and I don't approve of that. So, like I said, that's what I'm on. That's how I'm feeling. Of course, you can't make no man's decisions for them, no so-called man anyway, or whatever. Because I got to be careful who I call a man and all that. Can't make a decision for nobody else. You just got to be responsible for the decisions you make. And me, I didn't want to choose to definitely not walk away from my children or anything like that. But parts of me started to feel like, and especially when he took my sons to somebody else's household, when he took them to that girl's household that time. But when I started to feel like, wait a minute now, you trying to mess up the scent. You trying to like remove my scent that's just how I felt, from my sons. I'm their mother, and like you trying to like contaminate them with somebody else. That's how I felt, and basically trying to ease somebody in there and make her like she's a mother to my sons. And every time I talk about it and think about it, it's diabolical to me. And it's like, wait, what? Why would you ever think that you're gonna do some shit like that? Like, what possesses you? But anyway, I'm gonna focus on praying and just being thankful that my son is here. He made it through another year. When he wake up tomorrow, Lord willing, he lived to see it. And that God be with him, and that he does live out his purpose. And if he ever makes it to being a dad, that I definitely hope he be a much better dad than his so-called granddad and his dad, and you know what I'm saying. So, not to really even compare them, man, but I know he came through that bloodline, so that's how I'm feeling or whatever. But I love my son. I'm so thankful. I just turned on a old device that I had from back in the day, and a picture of him and my daughter popped up last night. I mean, not last night, tonight. They was together, and I just thought it was cute. She was with her little brother, and that was before my other son was born, and that was my baby. I'm like, it's been a while, but since I've carried him in my arms and stuff like that, he's bigger and he's almost as tall as me, so that's what that is. But and even just seeing my daughter on the pictures, like, man, wow, she did acknowledge her brothers, and she reached out last week or whatever. And they own so-called dad, just walked away from them. I'm like, man, I know you aren't. But, it's just weird to me that I'm even saying it. And then he's done things like that with my kids. Like I said, I knew it was some spiritual stuff going on. Spiritual craziness too, but I tried to say maybe there's a good part about it. I couldn't find it. But telling my son stuff like he got a lot of stuff to talk to him about and things like that. So, it's not that I'm jealous, it's just that I just don't understand it. I'm like, what? You got the opportunity to be up with him close, face to face and personal, and you decide not to, and then you already know it, you know what you experienced with your own so-called dad, why would you even, why would you do that? And with my daughter, just from the female perspective, it's like I didn't want to have that type of relationship with my daughter that I had with my so-called mom. I wanted it to be better, and I didn't think that the relationship with me and my so-called mom was terrible. I still, to this day, don't. Now, I mean, I'm not around her, but I don't think it was terrible at all. I just think it was, evidently it was something that we had to go through, maybe grow through, but definitely go through for whatever reason. And I'd always, jump to because of sin, but either way, it's for God's purposes, for His will to be done. It's not about us. So, and I think we did. We started out thinking it's about us, but He includes us. But but anyways, and yeah, operates in and through us. I'm gonna say if we allow Him, but He make the rules. That's the boss. But I don't know, it's just weird. It was weird, and it, I feel like it just sucked in a major way. Like, you was there in my birthing room. You cut the umbilical cord. Like, how is it possible that you would even dare desire not to be there? He was there both times, and I'm thankful. And of course, when I did reveal to him that I was having a boy the second time, it's like, oh, you gotta go. And I didn't take him serious, but shit. It's like I don't know, I guess he still is trying to dismiss me or whatever, but, and I feel like it's you being so stubborn, you won't raise, at this point, baby, I'm not pressed, but I'm still gonna feel weird about it, whatever, but it's like, I know you're not being that stubborn that you don't want to raise your kids with me. And he told me before, you don't have all my kids and this, that, and the third. And then so after he came back from, well, wasn't even done dealing with the girl, but I'm like, yeah, just as sure as I agreed on having the boy with him, yeah, let's go. But I mean, that never occurred. And then the last update that I got, when he spoke, he was like, I know you're not pregnant. I got receipts. I know good, well enough that you ain't pregnant. Even though he came over here and had sex and again pushed me in the room and it was just all that non-consensual stuff. So what's going on in your mind? And that make me feel like, boy, what is really wrong with you? Like, what is wrong? What's the problem? What did I miss that I just was jumping into stuff so fast? And like, it's creepy. And so I have to catch myself and I have to be careful with my boys because I don't fully understand the way their dad operate and the type of genes and stuff that he carries. So I'm like, baby, I don't want to damage them and screw them up worse. I'm like, Lord, preserve them and help them wherever they are, prone to fall short or struggle in life or whatever. Because I really do not fully understand it. I do have my own struggles. That was another thing I was disappointed at because he was like, yeah, everybody in a struggle. They thought that I didn't struggle. And I'm like, I'm struggling. And I mean, but it's so crazy that you feel like I got to prove to somebody that I'm struggling. Why do I got to do that? For one, you didn't seen it up close and personal anyway. Maybe your eyes fooled you and you missed it. But like, why do I got to do that? And my side and just other stuff is hurting right now. My side, my tongue, I'm in some pain. Well, I'm in some discomfort, excuse me. But yeah, just idiotic stuff like that to me. Idiotic, dim-witted, yet still be smart on some stuff, on some major areas. And that's how my sons are. They are very smart. I just want them to be able to operate in wisdom, not just smarts. Not try to outwit people and then end up being a damn dimwit but anyway, I submitted to God because I got all these thoughts flowing, emotions probably there, but it was a happy time for me, even though I was dealing with it on my own. Pretty much walked out the pregnancy alone and then he popped back up and this, that, and the third, whatever. It was still a happy time for me. I love having my kids. I love carrying my kids, even though some of that stuff, whether I might be a high risk type and just didn't even know, some of that stuff was, my health and stuff was trying to be tampered with. But when I had them babies, I just thank God. And I really do. I look at the news and I see these people dying, kids dying. I look back at that whole situation where, 2020, I ended up in a jail cell. That was the first time where I was away from my kids without without me even, definitely didn't consent to that, and just, I didn't desire that. And my kids was away from me, and, and even had to, again, that's traumatizing, had to experience that. Say our mom was in jail and stuff like that. Oh, Father God, keep me when I think about it, because I just think about the way that it happened. And it's all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. So, but just the fact that my kids and my son even was telling me, Mom, I was looking at the news. I didn't know if something had happened to you. And they, for one, they know I'm a trooper, and they know I don't just disappear on them like that. So they knew, and I don't like that. I don't think it was fair. I don't even want to talk about this. But like, he, to me, just in his dealings with other people or whatever, he just do some diabolical stuff. And yes, he can have these flying monkeys that try to do his work, his so-called dirty work or light work for him. But it's affecting me, and it affected my kids. It affected my household. And, you're so-called, I guess, trying to be spiteful and get me back mostly before the way that he feels, because it ain't for what I've done to him. Now, it could be for what I've said. I know I've said and spoke regarding his mom, because I just don't care about that lady. I don't care for her, because she did what she did regarding my son. And then I tried to even still forgive and move forward. She continued. So I don't care about that. But I did not do nothing to this man. That was diabolical. I think I did things to hurt his feelings, and I didn't do it intentionally. And again, it's just the spite. It was the spite, trying to spite me and stuff like that. And anyway, I don't even really want to vent about all of it, because it's so much that I carried and dealt with. And it was tough. It was a tough time dealing with him. And I just feel like I went through stuff that I went through with my daughter's dad. I went through other stuff with other so-called guys that I so-called dated or whatever. And then I went through so much still with him. Like, really? And I'm glad I made it through, but I just feel like barely. Now, God say, it's more than barely, but I do not feel like that. I feel like, they really tried to ruin me. And he was definitely one of them that just tried to ruin me. But, I don't want to even vent about this stuff, because, like I said, to me, it's supposed to be celebrating the life of my son. And, I thought we would celebrate the life of our sons together. And again, I'm not trying to be hung up on that by far. I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to do some critical thinking, I guess. But I'm about to let that fade away, because it is what it is. Like, their dad is not that. Let me just look at the facts. Their dad is not present. He ain't been present in 3-4 years. So that's more than half of one of their lives. And then the other one, still close to, because he was in and out. He has contributed to the household. I'm thankful. Let me just focus on being thankful that God I don't want to say whoever, but God moved on him to do that much. Oh, Father God, and just help me, Lord, with my emotions regarding the rest, regarding, it just feels like you just threw my sons away. You just throw my kids away. Of course, try to throw me away, but throw my kids away. And it's like, it is similar, the guy that just, if I can use my imagination, you just chucked your child into the river. Like, just, I mean, on one aspect, that's bold. It's like, well, when I do this, God got the child. But on the other end, it's a different kind of bold. It's like, because I feel like, too, that's what he's saying. Oh, well, I ain't got to, and even before he wasn't seeing them, he was still just staying away and doing other stuff. And then I guess it's different because he was seeing his daughter who he had by his daughter's mom. He didn't never leave he didn't never like get distant from his daughter when he was over here with me and my kids and my boys and stuff like that. He got distant from my boys when he got with somebody else. And then it's a conflict for me because my own so-called dad my so-called dad married somebody, and he definitely was distant from me. And of course left my so-called mom behind, or whatever the case may be, to raise me. And I got put off on my grandma a lot and stuff like that. So it's so hard because I watched him remain close to his daughter, take his daughter different places. He didn't even take my son's places, and he would still take his daughter. And then I didn't experience that. I don't feel like I'm longing for that or wanting that from my dad, but I'm just like, I guess I kind of expected. I didn't never encourage him, to stay away from his daughter or anything like that, because I wanted to be in her life and be in his life and stuff like that. But I guess I just expected it to go different because it went different for me. Like, wait a minute. And it was just always a confusion. It's like either I was in the middle or I was never have I really felt put first. Either I was in the middle and the in between, or either I was put last or whatever. And this, not even just talking about me, but my kids. Even when I spoke about how he didn't take my daughter to school and stuff like that, but this whole thing, he didn't call her dad and stuff like that to, get her out of my household, but he didn't get his sons. But yeah, I wouldn't take my daughter to school when you was here and stuff like that. I wouldn't do, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, it might not be meant for me to fully understand or whatever, and I do not want to wreck my brain or anything like that thinking about it. I'm just going to say I'm thankful for my sons, but it's not even that it's like physically that hard. I mean, sometimes it does get physically hard, but it's more so just the thought of and the stigma attached to being a single mother and stuff like that, and of boys. I didn't set out to do that. I know some females and women want to do that, and may go to a sperm bank or whatever. But I literally laid up under somebody, or however we did it to get them babies here, and so. I just feel like I don't know what to think. I do. I kind of feel lost. Like, Lord, what's next? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, and then I don't feel like it's fair to them that they're not being able to interact with their own dad and stuff like that. They don't seem to be as pressed. I know me growing up, I wasn't pressed about my dad, but it could be because I had a stepdad. It might not be, but I had a male figure in the house. So I just feel like it's so many things that are stacked against me. Like, and I do feel like they don't want nobody else in the household around them, but they don't want to, you don't want to take care of course, granted, my daughter's with a so-called dad or whatever. But, you don't want to take care of her. You just didn't want nobody else in the picture. And I've heard that so many times where, oh, you don't want me, but you don't want nobody else to have me, or you don't want, whatever the case may be. It's selfish BS and stuff like that. I didn't know that stuff really existed. I know, and I'm starting to understand now. I am not trying to be long and drawn out on here, but I am like, it made me want to smack somebody in their face and worse, but definitely a good old smackaroo. Smack, smack, smack. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, focus on the facts. Lord, wake us up tomorrow. I pray for a spirit of happiness. I pray for joy. I pray for peace. I pray for protection. We made it through those winds the other night. And Lord, I'm hoping you didn't bring us this far to leave us and and I know not forsake us. I trust you with the lives of my kids, and specifically my son, my older son. Thankful for his whole life. It's all his breaths, the breaths that he takes, his heartbeat. I'm thankful every day. I am thankful. I'm thankful when I came back, my boys were still here. Available. They was when I got out of there, they was the ones waiting in the car with the one who picked me up. Oh, Lord. My daughter was elsewhere, but I still was able to reach out to her at least and speak with her. Oh, Lord, I don't know your plans for my sons, and specifically my oldest one, Lord, but just continue to take him and keep him in your hands, God, because we need you, God. I need you on behalf of my sons. Just growing up another year without being able to interact with their own so-called dad. And for the longest, I thought, okay, he's stuck somewhere spiritually. I thought that. I don't know. That haven't really been confirmed. I've thought and strongly felt that, but and I'm sitting here literally shedding tears and didn't think I would. I knew I was feeling some type of emotions, but it wasn't like emotional. And it's not emotional because I've been here with my son. I haven't abandoned him. I haven't left him. This is tough and it's different for me. I never imagined that it would be none of this. Like, for real. I seen it happen. I seen other people be away from their sons and their kids and stuff like that, but I just never thought that would show up in my life at all. Me being away from my daughter for this extended period of time, and then of course my boy's dad just not interacting with your kids. Just think back on when he took them out. He took my daughter too, but when he took them out, and he rarely would take them out. It's like, that was just getting started, and then next thing I know, it's something else popped up, and it's like to interfere. And then I don't know how to feel about it because I don't desire him anymore. I desired him, fully and wholeheartedly then, but I don't desire him anymore. But I'm also just like, why when you take our kids, you gotta just do some dumb stuff with them? Why can't you just, And I know he ain't gonna do exactly what I want with him anyway, but it was just stuff that was just to me to spite me and disrespect me, and just it was deceitful and stuff like that. And when he was with me and stuff like that, involved with me, he didn't have, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't have to lie to his daughter's mom about where his daughter would be at. He didn't, oh Lord, that's why I just be like, sometimes it's hard for me to feel like I want to hold him accountable because I just feel like he's so damn ditzy and dumb. But I'm not holding myself accountable for the things that he did. But I guess he do still got a parent out here that's still alive. He got one, and maybe he needs to be held accountable for his even grown by age son's actions. He was not operating in maturity regarding our kids and wisdom regarding our sons, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know what all it entails, but anyway, Lord, I thank you. I thank you, thank you, thank you, and I give you the glory. Mm-mm-mm. Thank you, God. Thank you for this day right here, Lord. This is the day that he was due. And then shortly, a few hours, maybe about 13, 14 hours away, he was born the next day. 1:12 p.m. February the 21st, 1:12 p.m. And I remember his dad saying, "What's the significance of all those numbers?" He might have said those 12s and stuff like that, because he was born in 2012. He was born on the 21st. He was born at 1:12, and lo and behold, one at least some of the significance came out. He spoke it, because I didn't even go that deep. I definitely didn't. I'm trying to think. I do remember when my other son was born, what time he was born. Lord. Anyway, I guess I just need some me time and just me and God. I pray. I was in this room right here getting ready to bring him on into this world. Because I wasn't, like, I came in here. I was out there, but I came in here to do the video and stuff. I'm about to sign off.